All right, you're listening to the Vancouver mayoral candidates debate here on CKNW. We have Kirk LaPointe, Meena, Wong, and Gregor Robertson with us. And I know time flies. I mean, we're here for the full hour, but we're not going to be able to talk about everything that, believe me, I would love to get into as well. We've given you a couple of days on our listener line to bring in your questions to us. So we've got a couple of those that we are going to play for the candidates. As well, you can email me, simi@cknw.com, and coming up after the half hour, you'll have a chance to call in as well. Right now, though, let's start with our first listener line question. And this is a question for all of the candidates. And this comes from Charles Gauthier, the president and CEO of the Downtown Vancouver Business Improvement Association.
My name is Charles Gauthier. I'm the president and CEO of the Downtown Vancouver Business Improvement Association. Downtown Vancouver is the largest employment center in Metro Vancouver, with close to 2 million new square feet of office space under construction and more in the pipeline for approval and construction in the years ahead. If elected mayor, and assuming that you have the majority of your political party in power, what will you do specifically to stimulate more employment growth so that office vacancy rates do not soar into double digits like what occurred in the early to mid-1990s?
All right, thank you for calling in. With that, I'll start with Kirk LaPointe.
Well, I think Vision Vancouver is clearly a shamed part of our economy. I mean, our office towers are occupied, on the whole, by the resource sector, by the mining sector in particular. We're a world center for it. So we need to basically responsibly promote all sectors of the economy to make sure that we have these jobs in our community. We need to, in a way, get out of the way. As a city. I think that Vision Vancouver and Gregor Robertson have been impediments to job growth. They've selected certain parts of the economy. I believe that you can have a good environment and a good economy at the same time. I don't think you need to make that choice. They pursued an agenda that has actually alienated and kept, I think, a lot of resource sector firms from feeling welcome here. And that's why we were settled here. We were settled here as a port city. We weren't settled here for the fact that we're a couple of hours away from brilliant skiing.
Right, but Mr. Gauthier did ask, what will you do specifically? So what would the NPA do specifically?
We would make sure that we are touting and representing the city to try to attract these jobs. One thing I've said is that I'd like us to be the headquarter for any LNG project that the province might pursue. I don't want those head office jobs, financial support, legal support, head office support, being in a place like Houston or even Calgary.
Okay, Meena?
Well, what I think is the property value. When the property value have gone up so much, and I have seen people like business owners, and they're telling me that they can't afford the commercial property tax anymore. And for them, they have to move to Richmond. We're losing people. Business owners and operators they're moving to Richmond, to Surrey, to other cities because of our property value. They're so high, and the property tax for them is so high, and in the last 10 years, they've seen their property tax gone up 3 times. And how do you expect people, and when our people's economy, local economy is not doing well, because our local people are not making enough money to go out and spend. So I think the way to solve it is to increase people's income, so they have some money in their pockets to go out and shop and restaurants. And
how would you do that, though? How do you increase people's income?
Well, minimum wage, for $15 minimum wage that we're going to pursue and change the Vancouver Charter, so we can actually ask the big chain stores and hotels and to pay their workers better at $15. So when we believe that when people have money in their pocket, they will spend it locally and then stimulate local economy. Now with the big, like with $20 living wage, that we will do for our city employees, such as library workers and contractors. This we can do within the city authority.
Okay, Mr. Robertson, the question was, what will you do specifically to stimulate more employment growth so that office vacancy rates don't soar into double digits like what occurred in the early to mid-1990s?
Well, I'll continue to focus on Vancouver's economy. I've put a huge amount of effort into attracting jobs and investment from all over the world to Vancouver. And the good news is we're seeing unprecedented investment in downtown Vancouver right now. We have 7 office towers under construction, which will free up a bunch of space. And I think that's what Charles and the DVBI are concerned about. What backfills the space that all of these companies moving in is a necessary thing to fill all the new space as well. We've got Microsoft moving in next door here, going to 1,000 jobs in Vancouver. Amazon a block away, bringing probably over 1,000 jobs into the new TELUS Center. TELUS consolidating their operation as well. we have extraordinary growth right now in technology, and that's where I've put my focus. Tech jobs are growing like never before here in Vancouver. We're attracting investment. We're attracting jobs, and that's great news for Vancouver. That stark contrast to the history where the NPA at City Hall never put any energy into economic development. It was not a focus for the city. I've turned that. I'm an entrepreneur, and I see an enormous opportunity for Vancouver. So I make this a key piece of my work, going on business missions and attracting those companies to come.
What is the specific policy, do you think, though, that makes a difference?
Well, it's a number of policies. It's first and foremost City Hall being very open to business and saying, if you're interested in bringing your company to Vancouver, you're interested in moving to Vancouver as an entrepreneur, we will support you. We're right there, the Vancouver Economic Commission. We've increased the budget dramatically so that they can support companies and entrepreneurs. We're looking now to draw venture capital from all over the world to invest in companies that are growing here. And we have huge success stories like Hootsuite and Build Direct, Broadband TV, attracting major investments from all over the world and growing their companies here.
Okay, I want to move on to the next question here as well. So this is from a Vancouver resident, and this is once again, for all candidates, and it's dealing with congestion on our roads. Let's have a listen.
In the last 6 years, there's been a lot of bike lanes put in and a lot of traffic calming measures, all of which have resulted in a great deal more congestion in the city. My question is, what are they going to do to improve traffic flow other than, say, get onto a bike, get out of our car, get onto transit? There's many things that can be done to improve the traffic flow, and, this calming has just created congestion.
All right, I want to keep this one very, very quick. So 25 seconds apiece. Mr. Robertson, we'll go back this way.
Well, so the traffic challenge is mainly from so much construction downtown. Obviously, we can't add more cars. That creates more traffic. So the focus has to be on transit. The Broadway subway will take 50,000 cars off the road. Mr. LaPointe is out to lunch on, doesn't even know where the line starts. We have to have strong advocacy to get a Broadway subway. That will alleviate a lot of traffic in Vancouver.
Okay.
We believe in making public transit more affordable. Right now, the 3-zone is $170 transit pass. So we want to give every Vancouverite a $30 transit pass. So more people get onto the public transit, less cars on the road, less jam.
Okay.
In 6 years, Gregor Robertson's been talking about getting a Broadway subway. He has nothing to show for it. And instead, what we've had is hostility between cyclists and motorists in the city like never before. Our plan is going to get travelers around efficiently and effectively. It's going to mean that we have counterflow lanes, expanded bikeways, and increased capacity of the B line. I think that's a more practical plan than the non-delivery he's had.
All right. Well, we will have an opportunity to take your calls on this as well. So 604-280-9898. We have a couple more listener line questions to go through as well as some emails. You're listening to the Vancouver Mayoral Candidates Debate on CKNW. Stay tuned. The news is next.